When a recruiter opens your resume, they aren't looking for reasons why they should interview you. They're looking for reasons why they shouldn't, which means any glaring red flags or things that are on your resume that shouldn't will put you in the no pile and dash any hopes you have for getting that job. Now, caveat, there will always be those jobs where we don't get an interview because there's a missing key piece of experience or education, or there's a gap, a specific gap within a team that a hiring manager is trying to fill. We don't want to stress too much about those jobs because those are kind of out of our control. But there are many red flags that exist on our resumes that are completely within our control, ones that we need to address in order to increase the odds that we get in more yes piles than no piles, so we can keep the dream alive for landing that job. So stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you what you need to get off your resume so that you don't raise any red flags and you can get those interviews. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Sarah Curto. I am the career coach who helps unhappy workers go from dreading their Mondays to loving every day of the week because they love their work just as much as they love their life. I do that by helping people one-on-one, helping people write their resume, helping people in my Career You Love Academy. That's my group coaching monthly membership program where for only $100 a month, Canadian taxes included, you get weekly coaching. You get my entire course, templates and worksheets and guides and sample cover letters and sample writing. It's like emails, like everything you would need so that you can end up loving your work and finding a job you really want, not just having to take anything. We are busting that stat that 80% of people hate or tolerate at best their work. And we are making it so that 80% of people love what they do every day. And I come here every week to drop a new training to help you for free. I love to, like, my goal is to get as many people in the world. So that means I need to deliver a lot of great free training, and I get to do it. And I love that I'm able to help you. I hear so many great things from individuals about how a specific video or a series of videos have really unlocked something where they all of a sudden started getting more interviews, or they negotiated that offer, they got the offer, they transitioned into a new job, and they are so happy. And so please subscribe because I don't want you to miss any of this amazing content because I drop it every week. Okay, so getting things off your resume and the things you do. I read a lot of resumes, like six figures worth of resumes. And I would definitely see certain trends that would lead me to immediately discounting the person. And when I would survey my peers, they were doing the same thing. I watched hiring managers read resumes and then be like, oh, there's just something on here that makes me concerned. So I'm a no. I want to avoid all of that. Let's think about all of the ways that you can control your job search, and your resume is one of them. Okay, very first thing that you need to get off your resume is get errors, get mistakes off your resume. So these are typos, spelling mistakes, grammar issues. Now, these are problems that could instantly destroy your chances of moving forward. Now, to be honest, there are times when those are forgiven, but you don't know when those times are because for many roles, they require writing skills or attention to detail. So then for those roles, the chances are that this easily avoided mistake is going to be the end of the road for you. The other error we see on your resume is formatting. This is where you don't have consistent formatting. And we know this happens. I would see it all the time where someone would just take an old resume from an old, even like an old Word, like year or what's the word? Like the what solution, I don't know. The like the type. I don't know why the word's not coming to me. But when you then update it and there's slight formatting differences. Maybe the fonts aren't consistent between bullet points and bullet points. Maybe the bullet points themselves aren't consistent in terms of where they're tabbed or the bullet point used. Colors may be different if you had colors in the old one, but chances are you might not have. Um, it is like glaring formatting errors feel rushed to the reader, like this person just slapped something on and got it out. And we want to get all of those out. We want to get that call inviting you into the interview. So getting errors off your resume is the easiest thing you can do. Okay. The second thing you want to get off your resume is get anything confusing off your resume. Because as soon as the recruiter has to think, what are you trying to tell me? You're in the no pile. So if your resume is a functional or like skills focused resume where you're highlighting the skills and then just sort of listing the work, as soon as a recruiter has to think, I wonder where they did this, out. Most recruiters, I actually have never met a recruiter in the like corporate world that has opened up a skills resume or functional resume and didn't immediately close it down. Now, there are education, some medical, not all healthcare, but some medical fields. There are certain fields where skills-based functional resume is more the norm. But for most of us, it doesn't even get read. The other type of confusing thing you can have on your resume is employment gaps. Now, employment gaps are normal. So first of all, they're normal. Like most people have had one. When I did some stats in my audience, like 75 to 80% of people have had one. So they're normal. And I don't stress about gaps that were like 10 years ago because we can easily like not even show that gap. But if they fall within the last decade, I highly encourage that you include them on your resume. You can call it an employment sabbatical or career break, and you can quickly describe what you did during that gap in a way that you're comfortable with, that is short and sweet. You're not trying to overcompensate here. You're not trying to prove anything here. You're just answering the question, because the question a recruiter has, oh, I wonder what happened then. And anytime, like I said, they're looking for reasons why they shouldn't interview you. That question could be enough for them to close your resume and move on to the next one. This also goes when I think about confusing is interesting career journeys. Maybe there's an overlap between two roles or you're working two jobs at once. In this case, edit yourself first. Keep only what matters to this job in the resume. And if those extras don't matter, then keep them out. And if they do, use a couple of words in your opening paragraph or in one of the bullet points, including a brief note about why the overlap. So answering any of those questions a recruiter might have that may leave them confused, that may lead them to a no. We want to address those so that you can get those interviews. Okay, third thing to get off your resume is outdated resume practices. Boring formatting. Like those really stale looking black and white resumes of time has gone by. Yeah, don't use those. If you need templates, go below. I have two that I'm giving to you for free that have gotten a lot of people interviews, because I also teach you how to write a resume and the accompanying guide to it. So outdated resume practices include things like Times New Roman. They include using your home address, even a Hotmail email address. They all age you and make the reader feel like you aren't tech savvy or not one to go above and beyond. So get those things off your resume. The biggest culprit, though, the most outdated of all resume practices is references available upon request. Get that off your resume. Of course they're available. This takes up vital space and ages you. Get it off. Okay, number 4, the fourth thing that I want you to get off your resume, and the final, is get all those bullet points and big blocks of text off your resume. Is your resume too full of information? A skills highlight section, which is like an essay, or a block of bullet points that looks like a copy and paste of a job description? I'm talking like 8, 10 bullet points. A recruiter is skimming resumes. They are a skimmer. So we need to think about the psychology of a reader, specific to the psychology of a skimming reader. So when a person is skimming a resume, any big block of text, either in a paragraph form or bullet form, overwhelms the eyes, and which means they skip over it, which means you end up in the no pile. So we need to get those big blocks of information off. Now, if you grab my 2 templates, I talk about how to, in a job experience, especially if you've been doing the job for 5 to 10 years, or you do a lot in your role. I talk about some of the tricks of the trade that I use to separate that information out so it's not a big block of information. And in fact, we're tricking the psychology of a skimmer to read more than they normally would. I think the templates in the guide is like a game changer for most of these things. Now, to recap, I want you to get errors off your resume. I want to get confusing things off your resume. I want to get outdated resume practices off your resume. And I want to get big blocks of text, either in paragraph or bullet point form, off your resume. Okay, grab those templates. Let me know how they go for you. Let me know in the comments below, what are you guilty of? It's okay, because now you know, and you're going to let it go and move on and have your phone ringing off the hook, or like beeping off the hook, with all of the interview requests you are now going to have. Good luck. See you next week. Bye.